Chosen ones, good evening. It's been a day. Haven't seen you one full day. A little greasy here. Good evening. I have a quick message for you all. Good evening. I'm waiting for a few people to come in before it gets dark. Before it gets dark. Good evening. Good evening, Keisha, Texas. Hey. I see you all coming in. Come on in. How is everyone doing this evening? You know, I had this message in me, brewing. How to say it? I'm from Florida. My R words don't really, my R words sometimes don't click now. You know, we'll be honest with y'all. God say keep it real, be authentic. So brewing has been stirring up in me today. My R's don't be R'ing. It's too late in the evening for me to be starting, cutting up right. It's too late in the evening. But I got a message for you all, especially the chosen ones. I got a message for you. And this message is going to be for someone. I know it's going to be for someone. It's going to be for someone. It's going to be what someone needs. And I'm not going to be here long. And I mean that because it's raining. But I'm not going to be here long. You see the title. Oh, wow. 22 people, 2 likes, 222. There's that number again. Anyways. What I want to talk to you about. We have some people here. But I can go ahead and start my message, right? And what I want to talk to you about is you've sacrificed enough. Yes, you have. You have. You have sacrificed enough. And I'm here to let you know that you have sacrificed enough. You don't have to do anything else. Anything else. And I mean that. You don't have to do anything else. You've sacrificed enough. As the chosen one, you sacrificed for years. You have served for years. You sacrificed. You have given it your all. And you don't owe no one else anything else. Right? You don't owe anyone anything else. And I meant that. Somebody's going to feel this. Somebody's going to feel it. You don't owe anyone. And see, you know, sometimes we feel a little selfish. Right? It's raining. You know, that's the pouring down of the blessings. That's abundance. When I hear rain, that's abundance. You hear me? But sometimes, what was my train of thought? Sometimes we think it's selfish, right? We think it's selfish to finally take that focus. Finally take some of the focus and some of the little bit of energy you have left. You take that little bit of energy, your little bit of sanity you have left, and fill your cup up. Hi, Chris Bride from Barbados. Take that little bit of energy you have left that you're about to really spill over and try to give to somebody else. No, you're going to take that for you. That's why I came here for this message. I came to deliver this message to let you know you have sacrificed enough. What else there to give? You sacrificed your time. You sacrificed years. Most of you, you have sacrificed your health. You are sick because you've been stressing out over people. You've been stressing out over situations. You've been stressing out over your children, your adult children. You've been stressing out over the relationship. You've been stressing out over money. It's time for you to stop that foolishness. Yes, it is. I came here to declare right now, you're going to stop that. You have to stop it. Because if you don't stop it, you're not going to have anything left for you. And some of you, you're not getting younger. Time don't go backwards. Time does not go back. You don't know how many years you got in you, and you want to have those years for good years. You want to be in you want to be in good health if you can control it. If you can control it, you want to be in good health as well. You want to be in good health if you can control it. No, we can't control everything, but sacrificing for people, stressing out over people, worrying about people, you can cut that out. You can cut it out. Yes, you can. You can cut it out. Don't mean to come all forceful, but somebody needs to hear this. You can cut that out. And you have to stop feeling guilty. Stop feeling guilty for finally taking some of that time. Taking some of that energy. Yes, Wendy, age ain't nothing but a number. But if you sick, broke, bust down, and if you busted, broke down and disgusted, it's more than a number. It's more than a number if you don't have your health. If you're stressing, worrying, not taking care of yourself, it's more than a number. Oh, it's more than a number. Yes, it is. It's more than a number. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take the time. I want you to take the energy. I want you to take the sanity that you have left. And it's time to do the work on you. You know, that's all I talk about, healing on this channel. But I bring it in so many different ways and so many different messages, right? So many different ways. It's time to take care of you. Yes, Keisha, and they're not even worried about you. Not even worried about. They just worried about what they can get. And some of you, you got to pull yourself up off the table. You pull yourself up off the table. You don't sacrifice yourself. You don't sacrifice your whole being. You don't even know who you are anymore. You don't became everything to everyone else. You don't even know who you are. You don't even know what you like. You don't even do nothing for yourself. When the last time you bought yourself something? When the last time you bought yourself something? You did something for you. Even if you did something for you, when the last time you did something for you and you didn't feel guilty about it? That's what I want to talk about. Let's talk about that. You did something for yourself, then you felt guilty. No. It's time to heal. It's time to heal, and it's time to take that little bit of energy you have left, that little old bit. You ain't about a little bit. A little bit. Take that and fill your cup up. Take that little bit and renew it. Recycle that little bit so you can build yourself back up. So your edges can grow back. Half y'all don't have any edges. You don't have any edges. Got bald spots in the top of your head for worrying. That comes from worrying. You don't know why you're sick. You're going to the doctor. The doctor can't find what's wrong with you. And you know why? You're stressed. You're stressed. You're not focused on your health. You're not focused on taking care of you. You too worried about what everybody else is going to think. You're so worried about what everyone else is going to say. And you can't even focus on taking care of you. You let people stress you out. You let things that you can't control stress you out. It's time to stop that. It's time to stop it. It's time to stop. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, time to stop. Don't sacrifice your whole being. Everything you do, you worried about somebody else. Everything you do. Everything. You got somebody else in mind. You can't even go buy yourself a candy bar and you thinking about somebody else. You can't even go in a store and buy yourself a nice blouse. You thinking about somebody else. And I'm not saying, because as the chosen ones, let me tell you something. As the chosen ones, you got a servant's heart. You are a giver. You are a giver. That's how you were born. That's why you feel guilty. Because you're not operating in your authenticity, right? Authenticity. You're not operating in that. When you don't operate in, let me just say that. You are a giver. And I'm not saying that because I can't stop myself from giving. I give, right? I'm a giver. Even I'm telling you all, right? Even though I'm bringing this message, you still have a heart to give because it's in you. But what I'm saying is stop sacrificing. Stop putting yourself last. Stop putting yourself last. Because you give to know, what is the saying? You just give and give and give, and you don't have anything left over for you. And there's nothing wrong with giving because I'm a giver. But the thing is, we got to learn, why are we giving? Are we giving out of guilt? Or are we giving out of brokenness? Why are you giving? Just to be giving? Just for somebody to like you? Just for you to win favor? What is your reason for giving? Because it's getting out of control. You've sacrificed. You have given. When has somebody ever, not that you give, right? And you expect things. That's not why you do it. But the giving that you do, right? And the giving that you do that God didn't tell you to give, right? The giving that you do that it wasn't put on your heart as far as, God leading you to give. Out of all that giving, that's the extra, you're trying to win favor. The extra, out of all of that, what has someone done for you? Right? What has the people who you just give freely because you just feel obligated or guilty, what have they done for you? And it's not that you're expecting anything. Because some people come over here and say, if you give, you don't supposed to worry about it. And that's not my message. That's not my message. I'm talking to the ones who just give and give and give and give. What do you get in return? Do they ever think about you? Do they ever do little things for you? Let me know. Do you ever get a little surprise gift? Oh, I thought about you. Yes, Takesha, they will take advantage there. Do they ever just think about you? You're the type of person, you can be in the store, you see something, be like, that's a cute shirt, I'll get that for such and such. You that type of person. But do people ever do that for you? Do your Cash App ever ring? Do your Zelle ever ring? Just, I'm just thinking about you. Let me just send you these $20, $25. We in the chosen ones, we're grateful people. You can send us $1 and we'll be grateful because people really don't give us how we give to others. And it's not that you're expecting it, but the ones that you overly give to is what I'm talking about. Because, God always going to provide. But the ones who you just give, you sacrifice, and they seem to not appreciate it. Those ones is what I'm talking about. It's time to stop sacrificing like that. And I'm going to say something too. I'm going to say something to your chosen ones. I ain't trying to call nobody out. That's not what I do. But the truth do hurt, right? Some of y'all, let me tell y'all, some of y'all, because I've done this, and God had to check me. Some of y'all, you're a little mini God in people's lives. You're a little mini God. You are a mini God in some people's life. Lowercase g. Because anytime they have issues, they run to you. You are their God. They can't learn a lesson. God can't teach them to manage their finances. God can't teach them to be a good steward because instead of God teaching them and they go through the struggle to learn a lesson, you the rescuer. You rescue them. You have to stop that. That's where your stress is coming from too. Because you don't make yourself a little God in people's lives. Yeah, you made yourself a little God. Lowercase g. You their rescue. Instead of them going to God, they come to you. Yes, they do. And see, they'll never learn the lesson. They'll never turn to God. God will never be able to teach them the lesson because you're there. Yes, that's enabling. You're there. I know it's hard. It's hard to not be there for the people you love and the people you seem to, care about. You the rescuer. You don't became their God. You became their God. You have to let them fall and learn their lesson. That's the lesson I had to learn years ago. Still going through it, trying to learn how to be a good steward over finances. Still going through it. I'm not as bad as I used to be because I have more knowledge, but now I understand. I understand now. When I had to fall, when I fell, and them bills were piling up, stacking up like sardines. God said, get rid of that debt. Get rid of it. I had to learn. Get rid of them credit cards. I had to learn. Still learning. But I'm not where I used to be. But some of us, we're many gods in people's lives. And that's why we're stressed out. Because you're doing the job that God's supposed to do. You're stressed out because you don't became the person's God. Put one in the chat. If you somebody God, you can put it in that chat. You can put it in there. Go ahead and put it in there. I understand. I understand. I've been there. Been there, done that. You have to pull it back. Take care of you. Take care of you. Let them fall. Let them go through the struggle. I know it's hard for you because, see, you've been hurt. You've been in a struggle before, and you don't want anybody else to go through a struggle. I get it. We never want anybody to experience what we've gone through. Chris Bride, sometimes them kids, if they're adults, especially if they don't want to listen to your guidance, if they don't want to listen to your guidance and wisdom, you got to let them fall too. If they are adults, you got to let them fall. Even if they're teens, they're young adult, and they have a job and you trying to tell them how to manage their money. You got money, you have to let them fall too. Let them experience and go without. Yes, you do. You do. Because they're always going to say, I can call mama. I can call daddy. You're always going to be there. And there's nothing wrong with it. But see, you got to think about when you're no longer there. Right? You got to think about when you're no longer there. How will they survive without you? What are they going to do? So you don't want to point them to you. You want to point them to God. Yeah, you want to point them to God. And I know it's hard. Nobody want to see their children struggle, but you have to remember. And see, this one I had to learn with 4 children. Parenting doesn't come with the blueprint. Every way is not, a cookie cutter way. You learn as you go. Sometimes some kids turn out better than the other ones because you had more knowledge, right? You had more knowledge and you try to do things different. But I lost my train of thought. What I was going to say is, when we went through the struggle is what made us. The struggle what made us. And see, a lot of us parents, we take that struggle away from the kids because we don't want the kids to go through what we went through. And what we went through didn't kill us. We just didn't have stuff. And it's not the end of the world. We just didn't have stuff. We had to be creative. And see, that's what we take away from our children. We take away the struggle, and then they don't know how to stand on their own. Because we took the struggle away from them. Not saying you got to sit and repeat. You don't want your children, to repeat cycles. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with struggling. That's how you learn. That's just like there's nothing wrong with failure. Oh yeah, that's a blessing, Chris. Yeah, you step in. Yes. Yep, you step in. You be your hand, but that's different. I'm not talking about that. That's different. If God put that on your heart, that's what you do. You know, this message is for people who they know who it's for. They know who it's for. The message resonate. It hit where it's supposed to hit. It hit where it's supposed to hit. But sometimes we take the struggle away. Yes, we take the struggle away. Yep, we take the struggle away from from them. And the struggle is what taught us to be creative, make a way out of no way. But if you're always there being a little mini God, they're not going to get it. Yes, failure is good. Exactly. I know failure is good. You got to let them fall and fall early. Failure is good. It teaches you. I'm glad I went through my failure. I'm glad. One thing I've learned. And see, you have to see with spiritual eyes to understand what I'm about to say. Because everybody's not going to get it. One thing I appreciate more than ever now, I appreciate the struggles. I appreciate my trials and tribulations. I appreciate going through what I went through. I appreciate that. Yes, I appreciate the abuse that I've experienced. I appreciate that. I appreciate being rejected in my youth. I appreciate that more than ever. I'm glad I went through it then than rather go through it now. And see, people think failure is a bad thing. There's no such thing as failure, to be honest. Because it's only a lesson that you learned. You only learned a lesson. It's either you succeed or you learn. The failure just means you learn what not to do the next time. I embrace failure now. I embrace it more than ever. I used to be afraid of failure. I used to be afraid of success too, to be honest. Let me tell the truth, shame the devil. I used to be afraid, but now I'm not afraid anymore. Because I understand there is lessons. There are lessons in the things that don't go right. In the relationships that don't go right. In the friendships that don't go right. There are lessons. Yes, Keisha. There are lessons. You can't beat yourself up. And see, that's what we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn a lot of things. Yes, definitely we have to unlearn. We can't be sacrificing ourselves to no return. Look, we can't be sacrificing ourselves to no return until we are on our last leg. We broke, busted, and disgusted. No. We have to stop that. Many of us have become human sacrifices for other people. We've sacrificed our sanity. That's why some of y'all get mad too. Some of you all get mad, especially when it comes to your children. When it comes to your children, you get mad because some of y'all sacrificed so much for them children, and they still didn't turn out how you want them to turn out. They still went and did their own thing. They didn't listen. They were like, this is my life, and I'm gonna do what I want to do. Screw what you sacrificed. And you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with that. Yes. You have to be okay. And some of them jokers that had a nerve to tell you, I didn't tell you to sacrifice what you did. Just ungrateful. Some of them, they have the boldness to tell you that too. And you got to release them. Don't hold the grudge. I've seen it. Don't hold a grudge. Don't be mad at them kids. Don't be mad at them. Because remember, you're not the only one that have influence in their lives. You sacrificing, you working 4 and 5 jobs. You don't saved up. You got a college plan. They don't even want to go to college. They don't tell you that's your plan. That wasn't my plan. You don't sacrifice trying to give them a head start. That's what I'm saying. You see? You see what I'm saying? Yes, I didn't ask to be here. Okay. Yes, Keisha, give them grace, but not your life. And that's another thing. Some of y'all parents, moms, especially moms, we good for this. We good for this. We will stop living for them kids. We'll stop living. Yes, and that's what they'll do too, Lisa. Them kids will turn on you in a minute. Turn on you like you ain't never did nothing for them. But they got to learn. They got to learn. That's part of life. They got to go through that. They'll get it. How many of you, your grandmother told you something, your mama told you something, your mama dead and gone. She been dead 10, 20 years. Grandma been dead 30, 40, 50 years. Now here you go. You still on this amongst the living. And you often say, you know what, grandma was right. My mama was right. You be like, my mama was right. I thought she was crazy. I used to always think my grandma was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I thought that lady was crazy. Oh, but I get it now. I hear her voice and I see everything she used to, all that wisdom she imparted in me. Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back. I thought she was cuckoo. Yes. Thought it was cuckoo. And you know, Lisa, that's another thing that's going on. The enemy. And that's another message I was going to talk about. Maybe I'll talk about it here. Or maybe, let me see. I'll discuss it here. I got a little time. Although I'm talking about stop sacrificing yourself. You do the healing, right? You do the healing for you. You focus on you. And I was also going to bring this message of the chosen ones. I think I'm going to do a separate message, but I'm going to mention it here. One thing about the chosen ones are powerful. You're powerful. You are a force to be reckoned with by yourself. That is why people have to recruit other people to come against you. You're a Lone Ranger. Everybody gang up on you. Everybody point the finger at you. Everybody look at you like you're the problem. Everybody will come up against you. Yes, they will. Everybody will turn against you. And you're trying to think for what? What reason? Why? You're questioning why. You're the chosen one. It'll always be like that. You got to get used to that. I'm going to tell you something. You don't want to hear it, but you got to get used to it. You have to learn how to deal with it. You have to learn how to pray for folks. And you have to learn how to use your authority. When the devil go to acting up, especially in them children, when the devil go to acting up, get in your prayer closet and bind them spirits up. That's what you do, because he'll seep in them children. He'll seep in them children. He'll seep in that spouse. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. You feel the energy shifting. All that energy shifting, that be the enemy. That be the devil. You got to get in your closet and pray. You say, well, you know what? I bind this spirit up, this ugly spirit, in the name of Jesus. Yes, you got to do that. You got to do it. It may sound foolish to some people, but as a chosen one, you better know how to get in there and pray and cancel out this foolishness, because the enemy is working in these children. I'm telling you, the enemy is working through your children, the chosen ones. Especially if you got a child that's wayward. You got a child that's wayward, a prodigal. You best believe that child gonna try to recruit the other kids and turn them against you. You best believe that. That's a spirit of rebellion. That child will lie, tell the most heinous lie, heinous, the most horrific. That child will lie. And you got to pray and ask God to bind the spirit of accusations, to bind the spirit of deceit and confusion. Oh, because that spirit working in the background. You best believe. Oh, that spirit never rests. The enemy never rests. You think it's quiet, but that enemy is in the background planting seeds, being sneaky and sly. You have to know how the enemy operates. Oh, I know how he operates. I know how he operates. You have to see it. And you just have to say a prayer. You don't have to get all, religious. Just bind it up right then and there. We got to work on this thing is spiritual we're dealing with. Whether we want to believe or not. I didn't want to believe that it took all that. I did a message. It takes all of that. Yes, it does. It takes all of that. I spend a lot of time in my car. And I spend a lot of time in my car praying and binding up spirits, thinking about stuff that's going on, thinking about stuff that I see spiritually. I can't sit here and just be quiet. I can't sit and be quiet. I have to speak. And I have to come against that stuff. I have to speak against it. Yes, I have to speak against it. Because believe me, the enemy's in the background. There was an all-out war against God's chosen ones. You've been going through hell all your life anyways. But now that you're waking up, you can see it even more prevalent spiritually. Now you can see what's being taking place. You can see the pieces that are moving. You can see the deceit that is going on. Behind the scenes, God will show you dreams. He'll show you in dreams what's going on. And it's your job to be alert. It is your job to pay attention to that. That's why I say you got to focus more on you. You got to deal with you. You got to heal you. And that's just being in tune. That's just being in tune and being present so you can see this stuff. That's why he keep you distracted with people. He keep you doing foolish stuff like going out to eat, going to parties, going to this event, going to that event. Nothing spiritual. That has nothing to do with you staying focused and spirit, in tune with your spirit. He wants to keep you distracted. That's why y'all watch TV all day. You sit and watch TV all day. Because that's a distraction. You can't really focus because your mind occupied. Your spirit, you can't hear what's going on in your spirit because you're too focused on TV. The news. Turn that foolishness off. You already going through a war. You already dealing spiritually. So you got social media now, you got TV, you got your family acting the fool, you on the jobs acting the fool. You got to have time to be able to fight and pray. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have to have time to fight and pay attention. Oh, you need to cancel that out. 72 teardrops. Yes. You got to pay attention. Stuff is going on. And you're too distracted and you can't even pay attention. I mean, I don't even want to go there. I ain't even going to go there, Lord. I ain't even going to go there. Pay attention to them dreams. That's all I can tell you. Pay attention. I'm not a dream interpreter, but God will reveal to you. That's the only way sometimes he can talk to you because you're so busy. You think all them people in the Bible who God talked to in dreams, you think that didn't stop? That still go on to this day. It still goes on to this day. He still talk to you in dreams. The enemy still deal with you in dreams too. Yes, he do. That's why That's the only way God could get some of y'all attention when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, I know he showed me stuff in dreams. I pay attention more than ever. And I cancel out what I need to cancel out. I pray against what I need to pray against. When he showed me stuff, I sit back and I watch. Yes, he will. He will. But you know, you can't be in you can't get in that space, some of you, because you're too distracted. You're too busy trying to please people. You're too busy running to one event to the next. You're too busy being there for everybody else. This is not the time. This is not the time. This is not the time to be focused on everybody else. Yes. And 72 teardrops is only scary when you don't understand. It's only scary, but once you learn and you start understanding God and how he operates and how he communicates, you know you got the authority. You know you got the power and authority to cancel that out. Because you know, most of the things happen in the spirit world first before it comes to the natural. The enemy knows this. We the only one don't know it. We think it's spooky. We think it's far-fetched. The enemy knows. And people know. People around you know. And there's a lot of people. This is what I was going to say, and I said I didn't want to go there. But it's a lot of people delving in witchcraft, sorcery. That's at an all-time high now. But if you don't think it's real, because people say foolishness like this here. This the foolishness people say. If you don't believe in it, people can't do harm to you. That is a lie. That is a lie from the pit of hell. That is a lie. Don't believe that. Don't believe that. Don't believe it. People say if you don't believe in it, they can't hurt you. So you mean to tell me if I don't believe in bullets, you mean to tell me if I don't believe in a bullet, that if somebody's shooting at me, I don't believe the bullet gonna hit me. I'm gonna just stand there. Come on now. We use some wisdom. Use wisdom. That's how the enemy get us. What did the Bible say? We perish because of the lack of knowledge. And most of us know, especially people look like me. I didn't want to go here, but I'm gonna go here. I didn't want to go here, but I'm gonna be obedient. Especially people look like me. Y'all who look like me, put a one in the chat. Y'all look like me, same color skin. You're brown, mocha skin, caramel, chocolate. Put a one in the chat if you look like me. And most of y'all, put a 2 in the chat, who grew up looking like me. We used to hear this in our community. Oh, somebody fixed him. Somebody put roots on him. What you think that is? Somebody fixed them, put roots on them. What you think they were talking about? How you think those people lost their mind? They was normal 1 minute and lost their mind the next minute. How do you think that happened? Oh, let me just say, I don't believe in that, so it can't happen to me. You better go think again. You better think again. You know, we hear this stuff, we never question. We used to hear it and just think it's nothing. Oh, that stuff is real. Wonder why your kids acting up. Yes, that's what it is, Chris Bry, especially if you're in the Barbados, Bahamas, Jamaica, all them islands, Caribbean islands. They having that stuff. America too. I ain't want to go there, but I'm gonna tell the truth, shame the devil. Tell the truth, shame the devil. Podcast 444. The Mike Patterson podcast 444. Yeah, those numbers. I see those numbers all the time. 333-444. Yes, we got to stop ignoring this stuff. There is something, and see, we don't want to believe it. But we don't want to believe it. But you got it all in the movies. The movies talk about it. They show us this stuff. We look at the movies operating this stuff, and when a person said in the natural, we think it's far-fetched. No, they showing you what's going on. The movie's showing you what's going on. Cartoons, they got this stuff in cartoons now. Yes, Gloria, me too, honey. That's the Lord speaking. I don't know what's going on, but the Lord speaking with those numbers. 111-222-333-444-555-777. Yes. Yes, he's doing something. He's doing something. But yes, we think this stuff is far-fetched. That's why prayer is so important. And people having all these crazy dreams. What you think going on in them dreams? That's an indication something is when you have them dreams spiritually like that, God is trying to warn you all. Probably before it happens. But see, if you're not aware, you're just going to say, you're going to just chalk it up to science. Oh, everybody dream. No, you can't control your dreams. No, you can't control them. But you have the authority to cancel them out and bind. Yes, you do. You can't control. You really can't control it. But you can wake up and say, I cancel out every assignment. Especially if it's them dark, scary dreams where you feel like you died or something, or like, somebody put in here, shot or something. Somebody stabbed you, or somebody, you have the authority. You have the authority. Yes, you do. To cancel it out. Yes, this is something that's going on. God is doing something. He's pouring out his spirit, right? On all flesh. Everybody's going through something. Either you're going to lean towards good or bad. Good or evil. You have a decision to make. And that doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. That's why there's so much uproar. That's why there's so much confusion. That's why so many people, thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. That's why so many people going through stuff with their children, with their spouses. Why do you think all this is happening? It's not by, ain't no coincidence. You got to be open, and you got to understand from a spiritual perspective. And if you don't, you're going to lose your mind. Because you're going to think everything is the devil. And everything don't be the devil. Yes, Rochelle, that's the best time. Yes, dear, that's the best time too. Even if you can get up earlier. And see, you got to fight the enemy how he fights you. You can't fight the enemy naturally. And you can't look at people as if they're the problem. Yes, the enemy is using people, but it be spirits behind these people. Why you think these children rising up against their parents? The Lord talked about this. The word mentions this. It mentions it. Kids rising up against their parents, don't want to listen, regardless of how you raise them. Yes, and a lot of these kids are deviling into that too, Victoria, because they don't know, right? They don't know. We got to teach them. And then not only that, they don't know. The movies display this stuff as if it's natural. All the little Marvel movies, the movies we like, Superman, Batman, all those. Heavy in the sorcery and witchcraft. Heavy. And that's the norm. They think it's normal. But they don't understand when you touch this stuff, the repercussions. And parents too, Mike. Yes, the parents too, honey. Oh, no, we don't hold back over here. Not just the children, the parents too. Because most of the chosen ones, their parents had already abandoned and rejected them. And that's another thing we don't talk about. I talk about it. Hey, Rubia. I talk about it. I talk and speak what God put on my heart. And I talk about parents all the time. Some parents are. They're just as wicked. They hate their own children or have no affection for them. Some grandparents are wicked. They see their children as objects and not as children. They use them. Yes, if you abandon Gloria, he has. And that's why the enemy attack you in your childhood, because if he can get you there, he feel like he'll have more chances of you not fulfilling your purpose. But God would even use that for his good. What happened to you in your childhood, just like most of us, God is using that for his good. He has used that to make most of you strong too. Most of you are strong. And that's what the enemy don't like. Although you've been through your share of abuse, but you're strong. You can withstand a lot. And that's not by coincidence. That's not by coincidence. There are no coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. But if you're not connecting with God, that's why most people are really turning away, because they want to blame God for things that, happen to them. They're questioning God and asking him, why did God allow this to happen to me? Right? People are questioning that. And they're upset with God. A lot of people don't believe in God anymore because of what they had to go through. But if they just seek him and go to him and ask, they'll get their answer. But their heart is so cold towards God because what they had to go through. I don't care what I go through. Let me tell you something. I don't care what I go through, and I've been through some stuff. No matter what I went through, I still believed in God. Because I just believed that what I went through was going to work out for my good. Oh, wow, Gloria. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I'm sorry you had to go through that. But yes, but regardless of what I went through, I still believe. I still believe. And it is hard. It's hard. But see, as a chosen one, regardless of what you went through, that some higher power had to be there protecting you and guiding you along the way. You know that something had to be with you for you to endure what you did and still come out and still have your right mind. Because people look at you crazy. Like, how could you still believe in a God and you went through all of that? Easy. Easy. I think so too, Lisa. I think so too. I think so too. I think the enemy turns it up a bit when he see and he know that you're serious and your heart is serious. See, I did a video. I don't know if I released it. I was talking to someone today, and oh wow, yes. And the enemy is after these kids, especially through television, music. He's definitely after these kids because he know if he can get the children, he knows he already got the next generation. If he can get them now, he already know what the future is going to be. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry you had to go through that 72 teardrops. That is heavy. That is heavy, dear. Yes, that's heavy. Yes, if you know he get these kids, because you know, they making it like it's normal and fun. Yeah, they're making this stuff like it's normal, it's fun. Yes, them parents, see, when your parent reject you, that be the hardest pain to overcome when your parents reject you, because you feel like your parents supposed to be there to protect and love you. But when they reject you, that be the hardest thing to get over. And the devil, if he can use that and keep you in unforgiveness, keep you in brokenness, he'll do that. He'll do it. But see, God still could still take that and deliver you to help someone else. Because you'll be a living testimony. That's why it's good to share your testimonies. Because if people say, if she been through that and she forgave, there got to be a God. Something had to get her to that place to forgive people who have mistreated her. Forgive her parents. Something has to be, there has to be a higher being. There has to be a God, not a higher being. Let me correct that. There has to be a God when you share your testimony. That's why testimonies is so important. But see, the enemy wants to take that too. Let me tell you how the enemy wants to take that. The enemy wants to take your testimony so that other people won't be delivered, because he wants to keep you trapped in shame. Put a 1 in the chat. If you are ashamed of what you've been through. Put a 1 in the chat. I wish I could put a 1 in the chat. I don't know why I can't, but I wish I could. I wish I could put a 1 in the chat. The enemy wants to keep you shame, to keep you embarrassed by what you went through. He wants to keep you silent. He don't want you to tell nobody that you've been raped. He don't want you to tell nobody you've been through a divorce. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 times. He don't want you to tell nobody that. He don't want you to tell nobody you experienced abuse in your relationships, in your marriage, in your family. He don't want you to say that. He wants to always keep that shame over your head. But the moment you testify, the moment you share your story, that is the moment your healing begins. That is the moment you become set free. This is the only reason why therapy works. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna step out on the limb, and I'm gonna say this. Somebody could agree. Somebody could agree. Disagree, I meant. Somebody could disagree. This is the only reason therapy works, because you are telling them what happened to you. Even with therapy, it starts to work, but you still need to be delivered spiritually. God has to come in and finish doing the work in you. God has to come in. That's why the enemy don't want you testifying, telling your testimony. He wants you to be afraid. He don't want you to tell anyone. Because he know the second you tell someone, you shed light on what you've been through, that is the step, that is the first step to you healing. And you can't be ashamed of it. Sometimes I know you don't want people to know what you've been through. What I used to do with this, what I used to do before I came into the full understanding of telling my story, telling what I've gone through. Because see, you only can get free when you share your story. This is what I used to do back in the day when I wanted something to get out, but I didn't want to tell certain people. Let me tell you what I would do. I would tell a person intentionally that I knew talk too much. I would tell them. I would tell that person so they can go tell everybody else. That's how I would get my message out too sometimes. I used to do that. I used to do that. Don't judge me for that, but I used to do it. Because I know if I told this one person, I knew it'll get out. But now that I understand, that we overcome by our testimony, right? We overcome because you're confessing it, even if you confess it to God in prayer. But sometimes he will call for you to tell it publicly or to someone in the open. And I don't just tell things to everybody. I don't just go around telling people. When God put on my heart for me to share something that I've gone through, that's when I'll tell it. Because it'll be for that person. It'll be something God want me to say. It'll be to heal that person. It'll be for them. Now I use discretion now. I use discretion and discernment, and I don't share things until I know God is telling me to share it. Because you telling your story, because people could look at you and size you up. People look at you and judge you all the time. I know they do it because I can feel it. People size me up. They judge me. They think I haven't been through nothing. They think I'm bougie. They think I'm stuck up because how I look and how I carry myself. But it's when the testimony is told and they look at me like, "Oh, you don't look like you've been through that." You don't look like you've been through that. That's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. You don't supposed to look like what you've been through. That's when God has done the work on you. That's why that's when you know you're being healed and delivered. For real. Because you don't look like what you've been through. Or you don't sound like what you've been through. Because you know people who've been through stuff, sometimes they complain and they have this victim's mentality. You don't sound like a victim. No, you don't. You don't sound like a victim. And it's not until you tell somebody what you've been through and they be like, huh? They be shocked. Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. And another thing, too, with the chosen ones, you have to get used to people lying on you. They're going to lie on you. You got to get used to it. That's part of being chosen. They did it to Jesus. Listen, they did it to Jesus. They did it to him. Lied on him, talked about him. But you got to stay focused on your purpose. Stay focused on your purpose. Because, you know, chosen ones don't like to be lied on. That's how the enemy gets you, too. The enemy gets you off your purpose because he'll send people to do things to you to distract you. He'll send the enemy to do things to distract you and take you off your purpose. Yes, he will. Yes, he will. You're welcome, Rubia. Yes, he will. He'll send folks to say things and do things and take you off your post. That's what he wants you to do. Because if he can get you distracted and off your post, you don't have any protection. As long as you're doing what God tells you to do, you got protection. But if the enemy can get you off your post, oh, he can send his minions after you and beat you down. But if you stay on your post, you're getting up, you're praying, you're vigilant, and this is an ongoing thing. You're vigilant, you know what's going on, you're aware what's going on, you see what he's doing, you know how to combat that. But if you off your post, the devil gonna come hit you all with your way. What they used to say down here, knock you all with your ways crazy. All kind of ways. You stay on your post, you protect it. Yep. But that's what I want to come talk to you all about. I have to go home, get me some dinner. But yeah, stop sacrificing. Stop sacrificing yourself. It's time for you to focus on you. And that doesn't mean, and see, when I say focus on you and stop sacrificing, that doesn't mean you stop caring for people. It's not in your nature, chosen ones, to not care. You're a caring person. Oh, you're a caring person. That's part of who you are. But don't sacrifice yourself to the point to where you lose yourself. You're not doing your healing. You can't do your daily devotions. You can't pray daily. Don't sacrifice yourself to that point. Don't sacrifice yourself to that point. You still can give, but don't give yourself. Don't sacrifice you as a human. Don't do that. You have to stop that. Stop it. Put on your spiritual armor. Get yourself together and keep yourself together. Then you will be able to help other people. Then you'll be able to help other people. Because you're fully armored and you're healthy, you're whole. But you can't spread yourself thin. You got a little bit for you. You're giving everybody this. You got the job, got this part. This person got that part. You don't spread yourself thin. Be reserved with your energy. Be reserved. Be reserved. Keep some for you. Keep the majority for you. Keep the majority for you. Then you give from your overflow. Then your prayers will be more effective for someone else. Because you're filled up. You got your stuff together. You got your stuff together. Then you can go to war. for them children. Then you can go to war for your spouse. Then you can go to war and get them people up off you on your job. Have God like, Lord, get these, they bothering me, Lord. Then you can, pray. When you feel, that's why I had to pull it back. When I tell you I pulled back. When I realized I was just running to and fro, doing this, trying to do this for that person, do this. I had to get my prayer life right. I had to get myself right. I had to get my mind right. I had to keep my sanity. Excuse me. I didn't want to cough in the camera. Yes, I had to get myself together. Now if somebody say pray with me, I can say a prayer. If somebody say pray for me, I can say a prayer. If I need to be there for somebody during their time of, bereavement, now I can do that. But not running on fumes. No. We got to have a full tank of gas. We can't be on E and trying to help someone else. Our gas tank need to be filled first. And then we can drive around and pick up everybody else. We can drive around and help a few people. But if you on E, how you gonna help someone else? How you gonna drive around and give somebody else a ride? And you on E, you barely making it. You barely making it. I had to realize that and be okay with filling my cup up first. I don't know where we learned that, but we got to unlearn it. We have to unlearn giving to people when we're on E. We have to unlearn that. And it's not selfish to do that. I think it's selfish for you to be trying to give to people and you don't have enough for you. That's selfish. And you don't love yourself if you're doing that. That's very selfish. You trying to give somebody something you don't have or something you need for yourself. I need my own word of encouragement today. I'll give you one tomorrow. That's what you have to tell people. I need this. I need my affirmations for me today. Tomorrow I'll have something for you. Let me fill myself up today. Tomorrow I'll come back and fill you up. Or give you something, because I can't fill you up, but give you a little bit what I have. That's how it has to be. And you got to be okay with giving from your overflow. Giving when you're on a full tank of gas. Not half a tank, when you're on a full tank. And when you're not on the full tank, you have to go back and re-up. That's what we call it. We got to re-up. Re-up down here in the South. Re-up. Go get your spiritual healing. Re-up spiritually. However you re-up with God, that's what you do. And people are not going to like that. You got to be honest. People are not going to like that. You want to get yourself together first. And this is another thing. I'm going to say this. Then I have to go. I have to say this because this is for somebody right here. This definitely going to be for somebody. And you got to let me know. Put a 2 in the chat if this is for you. Everybody emergency is not your emergency. That's what I'm going to tell you tonight. And I'm going to get off here. Everyone emergency is not your emergency. You are not God. You are not God. I'm going to let you know that right now. You're not Jesus. You're not God. You're not. Everyone emergency is not your emergency. Stop feeling guilty because someone else 911. Their 911 is not your 911. Take off your savior cap. You're not the savior. The cape. You're not the savior. That's what I want to say. I'm going to get off here. Their 911 is not your 911. Don't take this message as a message of being selfish. That's not that type of message. Take this message as your wake-up call. Wake-up call. What they call it, a clarion call. Wake up. Take this as that message. You jump and run every time somebody calls. That's not your problem. Yes. To be honest, you're taking away the lesson they need to learn because you're their 911 emergency. They know they can call you anytime. 911. Instead of calling 911, they call you. 911 emergency. They call you. So good night, you all. Hope this message blessed you all. That's what I wanted to come talk to you. It was filled. Went over my time. I did say I wasn't going to be here long. Still talked an hour, over an hour. You see? I'm going to stop saying that. I'm going to stop saying that. But don't forget, also, I'm a life coach. If you all need want to talk to, you need some clarity, do you feel stuck? I am a life coach, and you could book a session with me. There is a book session link in the About page. A book session link in the About page if you'd like to book a session with me, right? I have 30-minute sessions and 1-hour sessions. I also created my t-shirt design. I don't know if you all saw that. My t-shirt design for the fat grapes. Hashtag fat grapes. I created that design and put inside my Teespring store. So I would love for you all to support me in that. If you would like, there's no pressure. But I have to come and ask, right? So feel free to book a session. Book a session. Don't book a session now. If you're not ready for truth, let me tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. When God told me to be authentic, he meant just that, for me to be authentic. Don't book a session if you don't want to hear the truth and if you're not ready to do the work. Don't book those sessions, because I speak the truth and nothing but the truth. Right? So be blessed. Okay? Good night. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know. But hopefully I could come back tomorrow with the message. I'm not sure. So good night. Be blessed.